Okay, we're talking transfers today and we're going to attempt something a little bit ambitious. We're going to try and chat about every single player Celtic have been linked with so far this summer. What is the current state of the deal? Is it a goer? Is it a stopper, I guess? And yeah, basically you could have been on holiday for the last 3 weeks, come back, watch this video and be up to speed with everything Celtic transfer related. That's the hope anyway. And right away I am telling lies because there is no chance we're going to be able to chat about every single player who has been linked with Celtic this summer already, because there's probably been 50, 60, 70 players linked with Celtic so far this summer. This video would be an hour long if we went into all of them, but I'm going to do my best to speak about all of the main ones, the ones that are on, the ones that are off, the bizarre players that we're monitoring, and probably take a look at some of the language being used in various reports as well, just to kind of educate you all further, and myself I suppose, with regards to what is happening with Celtic in the window, what Ange is after, what he's closing in on, what he still needs to look at, etc. Now, before I start, and I've not done this in a wee while, a wee sub shout out, and basically if you're not subscribed to the channel, why not? I was actually looking at the figures so far for June, and still over 50% of you watching us aren't subscribed. We have got so much coming on the channel over the coming weeks. Obviously Celtic are going to be back very soon, so give us a sub. And do us a favour and click the wee alarm bell as well when you do that. That way you won't miss out on any future uploads when they come out, and you certainly won't want to miss out on any future uploads when they come out. Okay, let's start with the players that are most likely to sign for Celtic this summer, and certainly the ones that are more than just rumours. Benjamin Siegrist, the former Dundee United goalkeeper, who is a free agent. The latest on him is that we are in advanced talks. That was on Friday. We haven't heard anything really since then. Ange is wanting to sign him as a backup goalkeeper, either number 2 or number 3, probably vying with Scott Bain for that. And he would certainly add a little bit of experience, given that we've lost Vasilis Barkas as a keeper. I'd certainly expect Benji Siegrist to be a Celtic player next season. But would it be as a number 2 or number 3? I think that's the biggest debate here. Spoken about it already on the channel, but I think he'd be a good addition to come into the club. He is an experienced goalkeeper. He's a pretty good goalkeeper. I think he'd be a pretty dependable number 2 if that's what he would be coming in to do. And I just think this is a kind of a matter of time. I don't think it's one that will get a massive build-up. I think it's the kind of one that will drop at 3:34 on a Tuesday afternoon. Probably just one tweet from Celtic. Celtic are delighted to announce the signing of Benjamin Siegrist. There won't be massive fanfare. People will still probably reply to the tweet asking where the Jota announcement is. But I think it's an important signing in a funny way. So that's the latest in Benjamin Siegrist. He's the most likely out of all of these players to sign for Celtic. No offence to him, but he's probably not the most exciting name at the moment. I think a far more exotic name is Alexandro Bernabei. He is the Argentinian left-back who plays for Lanús. Thank you. At the moment, various reports suggesting that there's a bit of a disagreement between Celtic and Lanús about his valuation. Lanús said to... I'll stop that now, sorry. Lanús said to rate him at around about £4 million. Celtic hoping to get him for nearer £2 million. Classic Celtic tactics here. My view on the whole thing would be, yeah, just pay the $4 million Celtic, but I know it doesn't exactly work like that. But it certainly seems like this is a goer. There have been too many reports from different outlets, both here in Scotland and over in South America, Argentina, that this is one that could happen. He actually returned to the Lanús team last night after missing their previous 3 matches through injury, apparently. But it didn't go well for him last night. He was actually sent off for headbutting one of the Colon players. You've probably seen the clip going around on social media. You shouldn't have to search too hard to find it. Yeah, not great for him, but maybe we need a bit of that in the team. Maybe we could be criticised of being a little bit light at times last season, and maybe someone like Bernabei coming in would help to sort that small issue. And he's clearly a very talented player. I say that, having watched precisely 4 minutes of him on YouTube, so I can't really comment too much on whether he's worth the 4 million or even 2 million that Celtic are reportedly valuing him at. But as I've said before, Argentinian fullback, pretty exciting, I would say. So hopefully Celtic can get this one over the line. And I should put a quick disclaimer in right away that 67 Hail Hail, of course, abhors any sort of violence. So shame on you, Bernabei. The other big name from South America that's been linked at the moment that you're probably already sick, tired, fed up hearing about, and he's threatening to turn into a little bit of a saga, is Vinicius Souza. He's the Brazilian central midfielder playing for Lommel in Belgium, who's attracting, I think, roughly 40% of Europe interested in him at the moment. Ajax, PSV, Fenerbahce, Club Brugge, Bologna, all credited with an interest in him, as well as Celtic. The City Football Group, of which Lommel is a part of, are said to be most keen to see him loaned out to Celtic, but the final decision will be left up to the player. It was earlier reported that he's not totally sold on Scottish football. It's been the Scottish Daily Mail who have been leading these reports with Vinicius Souza. They were the first ones to credit us with an interest in him. They recently said that he is in no rush to make his mind up. That came from a source close to the player, so it seems like Souza isn't going to rush into a move. These would all be slight red flags, pink flags for me, and probably for Ange as well. But if we could land him, it seems like he would be that real quality midfielder that we need. A player who could vie with Callum McGregor for that deeper of the three role, and possibly allow McGregor to move one up in tougher matches, Champions League matches. Without knowing anything, I do wonder if that's maybe Ange's plan, to have McGregor playing one up alongside maybe a Hatate or a Matt O'Reilly in the Champions League games, because he really has that engine and that ability to win the ball back. I think Hatate has the engine as well, when he's not completely drained of stamina for playing 100 games in about 6 months. But I think that may be Ange's plan. Get a quality kind of, not a holding midfielder, because we don't have holding midfielders as such, but certainly a slightly deeper central midfielder, and then move McGregor one up. That may be what Ange's looking at. He may just be looking to take the strain off McGregor a little bit, but we do have Gucci there as well. But interesting about Vinicius Souza, seems like that may be maybe kind of pushing uphill with that one. Just seems like there's a lot of different things going on there, in comparison to someone like Bernabei, where it seems, a much simpler process. But then again, nothing is ever simple with Celtic. In terms of centre backs, we're still understood to be after another one. If you have been on holiday for the last 3 weeks, we signed Cameron Carter-Vickers, about 8 days ago. We're said to still want another player in addition to him, given that Christopher Julian's future at the club is uncertain. Ko Itakura was mentioned this summer. He was mentioned last summer. He was probably mentioned in January as well there. But he is set to sign for Borussia Mönchengladbach, so he obviously won't be coming to Celtic. Another Man City player, Taylor Harwood-Bellis, is said to be interested in Celtic. The line is that we are monitoring him. He's the England under-21 captain. He was on loan at Stoke last season. He's also had previous loan spells with Anderlecht and Blackburn Rovers in seasons gone by. It would, I think, be a loan, almost certainly be a loan if he does come to Celtic. And again, it would just be another added bit of competition. There were some murmurings in the last couple of days that Christopher Julian wants to stay and fight for his place at Celtic. I'm just not convinced he's in Ange's plans, and I think bringing in someone like Harwood-Bellis to complement Welsh, Starfelt and Carter-Vickers would kind of leave us quite well set in that central defensive department. Got a funny feeling about Harwood-Bellis. I just think it's one that's going under the radar a little bit, and I think this might be one that Celtic pull off. Again, there's just probably been too many murmurings for it to be a nothing rumour. Elsewhere, and now is a point in the video where I'll just rattle through some names. Most of these are now kind of off in terms of Celtic. We had Christopher Scott, the Bayern Munich youngster. However, he will either be staying with Bayern Munich They had an option on another year of his contract, or if he does leave, it seems it'll be to elsewhere in Germany, so not a goer. Celtic scouted Aberdeen's Conor Barron while he was playing for the Scotland under-21s, so he could be a name to keep an eye on, but probably not this summer, probably in windows to come. We had Maccabi Haifa's Mohamed Abu Fani, a fan's favourite, if you will. I know a lot of you just loved him for some reason. The midfielder is a player we were monitoring. He plays for Maccabi Haifa, and we had a look at him while he was playing for Israel during the summer. Again, that one's gone quiet. We had the two Matondas, Rabi and Jaffet, again, gone quiet. There's a wee theme developing here. We're also said to have been tracking Ben Crompton, who is set to leave Shrewsbury. It's probably a good point, actually, just to kind of tell you a little bit about the wording in these reports, because I think sometimes, as fans, when you don't really have a real understanding of what's going on at clubs, how clubs scout players, how they come to find out about players, how they sign players, other than Football Manager, of course, you kind of hear these names sometimes and you automatically think, oh, Celtic must want them. When are we bidding for them? When are we signing? And a lot of these names you hear, like the Matondas and Ben Crompton, and even someone like, Conor Barron, are players that Celtic are just looking at. And that doesn't mean that a bid is imminent. It just means that we're aware of them and we're wanting to be kept up to speed with how they're doing. We're wanting to take a further look. Like seeing a pair of shoes that you quite like, either on one of your pals or in a TV advert. You think, I quite like them. I'll go down to the shoe shop if people still do that. You have a look at them and you think, nah, actually not going to bother buying them. I would say it's something kind of like that. The same probably goes for Tom Lawrence, Matthew Sorinola, Nikola Vasilj. Again, you can probably tell these are some names that I'm hearing actually for the first time. We've also been linked with left backs earlier on in the window, Francisca Ortega and Mohamed Yatsa. The latter there was a player who it sounded like was going to be our first signing. Various outlets in Scotland were saying he was set to sign. It doesn't seem like that's the case. It very much seems like Bernabei is the concrete left back that we're after. Blackburn Rovers striker Terence Dolan has also been mentioned in the last day. So these rumours are just coming out all the time, and they're going to continue to do it. I think the forward bit is interesting. Does Ange want another forward for next season? If a Yeti moves on, you could probably argue that he could do with one. I think Maida's viewed certainly as a left winger. I think that's where he's best. Kyogo's great, Giakoumakis is great, but both of them have had various issues with injuries, and I think you'd want a third striker coming in there. But we've not heard too many names being linked with Celtic, so I think that's the interesting bit. I think just to summarise, if you're looking at goalkeeper, Siegrist as a backup option, decent. Left back, Bernabei, if we can get that one over the line, I don't think anyone would grumble with that. Him and Greg Taylor vying it out there. Liam Scales going out on loan. Adam Montgomery possibly going out on loan. Bolly Bolingoli probably going away to Spain for a mad weekend again. Centre back, Harwood-Bellis, perhaps. Again, as I've said, you'd be quite happy with that. A deeper midfielder, Souza, perhaps if not Souza, it's going to be Fanny. Who knows what will happen there? Probably more names will come out there as well. Jota, of course. Hopefully this is the week when Jota is announced, as well as another striker. Now, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 positions. If you add Carter Vickers to that, that would be 7 signings this summer. I know you might say Maida as well, but he was already guaranteed. I think 7 signings is kind of what we were expecting, and I think the Celtic squad, presuming we didn't lose anyone key, certainly no murmurings of that at the moment, that Celtic squad would be in really, really good nick going into next season. Hopefully we get a wee signing this week. Wouldn't that be nice? It'd be nice to be able to cover that, even if we don't know, even if it's another quieter week in terms of actual concrete signings, we've got plenty planned nonetheless. So yeah, stay tuned, give us a sub. I'll be back tomorrow.